for horror lies.
What's up, BodyBags? Kyle back again for another Tuesday review. Today I'm doing a movie of a sequel to a movie that I did last week, a review on last week. Last week I did the movie House, which was I believe 1995 is when it came out, comedy horror movie. Today I'm actually doing House 2, which came out in 1987. Yet again another American comedy horror movie, which does not fall in line. It's not considered really a sequel. It's actually, it probably shouldn't even be called House 2. Should have had a different name probably, but it falls in line with similar details as House did, but it has nothing to do with the first movie. It's completely new characters, completely new house, nothing to do with the first movie whatsoever. This movie is directed by Ethan Wiley, and also stars R.A. Gross, Jonathan Stark, and Bill Maher, which is pretty funny. Bill Maher's in this. If you guys aren't familiar with Bill Maher, he does like he's pretty big on politics. He has a TV show. I don't remember what channel it was on, but Bill Maher, look him up. He's in this. He doesn't play a main character in this. He's kind of a secondary character. But basically, to get into the plot of this movie, to get into the plot of the second movie, it basically follows this character and his wife that move into this house that was owned by his family. It was given to him, it was passed down to him by his family. It's this big mansion. At the beginning of the movie, it shows it's just this really huge house. Him and his girlfriend, wife, they move into the house. They're taking it over. And all of a sudden, his friend and his friend's kind of like diva girlfriend, they move in with them as well. They're offered to move in. They come and move in as well. The friend's girlfriend's trying to make it big in Hollywood. She's a singer. And she knows that the main character, his wife, is big into the music industry. She works for a record company. So the friend moves in with his girlfriend to try to get the whole process moving along so she can kind of get big. The funny thing is, the girlfriend of the friend, she was the mean stepmom in Problem Child. If you guys have ever seen Problem Child, I thought that was pretty funny when I saw that. Moving to this house, and it still has a bunch of heirlooms and a bunch of stuff from the main character's family. Like, it has pictures, it has all kinds of furniture, it still has all this stuff. So at one point he goes down into the basement and he's looking at pictures of his old family. He finds a picture of his grandfather, and finds a bunch of old documents and things of that nature. And his friend comes down, which his friend's name's Charlie, comes down and starts looking at the documents and the pictures, and they see a picture of his grandfather. And apparently there's a legend, or there's a story about his grandfather. He was like an old western-y kind of guy. He had a friend, and they used to go out on adventures and do all kinds of crazy stuff back in the day. It's his great-great-great-grandfather. There's this legend of the skull that they found. There's actually a picture of his grandfather holding it. It's his crystal skull, and apparently the crystal skull brings eternal life. And apparently his great grandfather's friend wanted the skull, but he had to kill his friend because the friend kept trying to get the skull. So there's this little legend going on, and apparently, according to urban legend as well, when you die, you're buried with all your valuables. So apparently there's a legend that he was buried with this skull. So him and his friend go down to this graveyard. They uncover his grave. And here out pops what they call him Gramps. They find his skull. The eternal skull brought him back to life, rejuvenated him, and he's alive again. He basically looks like a zombie. He's very, very deteriorated, but he's still alive, and he's actually pretty much walking around and doing all this kind of crazy stuff. So they bring him back to the house, bring him back to the mansion. They kind of explain what was going on, why they uncovered him. It's been over 100 years or close to 100 years or something along those lines. and Gramps, you know, pretty much just makes himself at home. And this is kind of where the comedy started. At the beginning, a little bit portion of the movie was sort of serious, and then it gets into the really comedic parts, you know, where it kind of falls in line with the first movie, where, you know, they find an other world, and they go to this other world, and people keep trying to take the skull from them. They have to get it back from them. There's a funny scene where there's like a big guy, he looks like a big wrestler or like a bodybuilder. He comes, I guess, from the other world and tries to steal the skull, and they have to fight him. Basically, the whole movie is the skull's trying to get taken away by the grandfather, the guy that he killed back in the old days, back in the old Western days, and he's the main bad guy, the friend that he killed, and they have to you know, keep him, the main character and his friend have to keep trying to get the skull back. Very, very funny movie, very comedic movie. This movie actually is a lot lighter of a tone than the first movie. The first movie was kind of a serious movie. It was a comedy movie, but it had a serious, very serious tone to it. This movie is very much lighter, and it's not as you know, as dark as the first movie kind of got in a way. Bill Maher actually plays the main character's wife's boss, which is the record executive that tries to sign the friend's girlfriend the whole time, and he's kind of creeping on the wife the whole time. And there's a couple of scenes where the main character gets caught kissing another woman who was like his friend from a long time ago, and Bill Maher's kind of like telling on him and stuff, trying to get him in trouble. This movie was very, very funny. I did not like it as much as I liked the first one. I will admit, I liked this movie, but I nowhere near liked it. I did not like it anywhere near as much as I liked the first one. I think I want to say I gave the first one, if I remember right, an 8 or 8.5 out of 10. I'm going to give this movie a 6 out of 10. I didn't think it was... It was definitely a blast to watch. It was fun, but it was way too comedic for me. I mean, I'm not a huge comedy horror person, but it was just a little too over the top for me. I mean, the first movie was sort of over the top, but it still had that serious tone of, you know, the main character being in the army and the army guy coming back from the dead. This was just like way over the top. It was more of a fantasy movie to me than even considered a horror movie. I give it a 6 out of 10. I really enjoyed the practical effects in this movie. These movies are awesome, these older movies, because they have really, really good practical effects in them. There was a scene where there's like a bird that steals a skull. And there's some scenes of him CGIing, but most of the scenes were practical effects of that bird, and it looked really, really good. And those to me, those practical effects scenes, they hold up over time. They still look good, you know, later on down the road. But yeah, I mean, but overall, I would probably revisit the first one way before I revisit this one again. I still want to watch the third and the fourth one, but, you know, I'm not going to hold them to the standards I hold the first one, because I really enjoyed the first one. Little note here about this movie, little fact I found online about it. Kane Hodder actually was the stunt coordinator for this movie, for House 2. So I thought that was pretty cool. I wanted to let you guys know that, throw that in there. Kane Hodder's done a lot of stuff within the horror industry, a lot of stuff in the movie industry, but he apparently was a stunt coordinator for this movie, and there was a lot of, you know, needing for stunts. I mean, there was probably a lot of scenes where he had to coordinate certain things, because there was a lot of people falling, a lot of things being thrown. It was just a lot of stuff going on there. So, but yeah, House 2, 1987. Check it out if you guys like the House series. Don't take my, you know, I am just going off of how I feel about it. Maybe there's people out there that may like it better than I liked it. I'm just not a big comedy horror person in general. I like it, but at the same time, it has to be really good to catch my attention and really make me want to revisit it. 6 out of 10, House 2. Check back next week. I'll have another review on Tuesday. And like and subscribe like and subscribe this page and the Horrorphile, which is my page down at the bottom. Let me know what you guys think. And until next time, peace. Deuces.